The story begins with Bea going for a jog one morning. Sometime before that, Bea is being rushed into the hospital for emergency care. Joy and Ben arrive at the hospital. In Bea's room in the hospital, Bea's grandma Loretta also says that she knew something like this would happen while lighting a cigarette. Grandma Peg quickly scolds her for smoking since they're in the hospital, but Loretta doesn't seem to care. Derek arrives and learns that Bea isn't awake yet. After Joy and Ben finally arrive at the room, Sharon enters the room and happily gives his sister Joy a hug. Derek asks Sharon where his milk duds are, and she says she forgot. Joy suddenly freaks out when she sees how carefree everyone behaves despite Bea's situation. Things quickly get chaotic after everyone calls each other out for their shortcomings. Although she's in a coma, Bea can still feel everyone's presence and says she feels like going for a jog because that's how she usually copes with these stressful situations. Eventually, everyone settles down after agreeing they should stop arguing for the sake of Bea. Bea can't remember what happened to her, so she retraces her steps. To her surprise, her recollection starts from before she was even born, when her mentally disabled parents, Derek and Sharon, met. Bea says that her father Derek wasn't born with his disability, but got it after a drunk driver hit him when he was 12. Although his body kept growing, his mind stayed as if he was 12. As for her mom Sharon, a part of her brain never fully developed, and doctors say she could never live independently. Roughly 18 years ago, Sharon gets interested in Derek, who is mowing their lawn. Despite people not wanting them to get romantically involved because of their disabilities, the two marry each other. When their parents met, Loretta quickly suggested they should sterilize Sharon so they couldn't have a baby. She believes it's best for Derek and Sharon because they can't care for a child due to their disability. Peg quickly goes against the decision because she thinks it's wrong. After a bit of back and forth argument, Peg eventually says they might just be overthinking things and that Derek and Sharon aren't even interested in having a baby. A few months pass, and Sharon is in the delivery room, screaming her lungs out as she gives birth to Bea. For a while, Sharon and Derek stayed with Peg and Earl. While Peg is happy to help raise Bea, Earl isn't. He believes the entire thing is a disaster waiting to happen. Eventually, Derek decides to move out with Sharon and Bea because he wants to take care of his own family. While Peg is against it, she couldn't stop them from leaving and blames Earl for it. In the present, Mary, Bea's social worker, arrives at the hospital and talks with Peg. Mary reveals she met Bea 7 years ago after a car incident, which Peg believes to be a big misunderstanding. To get a bigger picture of Bea's life, Mary asks if she has been getting along with her parents lately. Peg immediately gets defensive and says Sharon and Derek had nothing to do with Bea's current situation. Mary explains that they have to consider the non-traditional childhood that Bea went through. Hearing this, Bea is somewhat annoyed that people seem to be overly concerned that she once lived in a van with her parents. She recalls living in that van and considers it one of the happiest moments in her life. She believes it was when her parents could just be themselves and the first time her mom made real friends, albeit they were mostly elderly. Despite the hurdles that came their way, Derek was able to come through and even managed to get a house for his family. While Bea thinks they were happiest in the van, she was also happy to live in a house. As she grows up, Bea likes that her parents trust her to care for herself. She did so until they started trusting her to do everything. When Bea was 10, Derek tries to teach Bea how to drive to be prepared for emergencies. She doesn't want to and asks why her mom can't do it instead. Derek says her mom simply can't, and Bea asks if it's because she's mentally challenged. Surprised that she would say that, Derek asks where Bea heard such things, and she says a girl named Esther in school said it. Eventually, Derek promises Bea he'll give her anything she wants if she just learns to drive. Later, Bea gets a dog, and she names him Godzilla. One day, Sharon accidentally lets Godzilla out of the house. Thinking that it's an emergency, Bea decides to drive their truck to look for her dog. Sadly, she crashes the truck and gets an interview from Mary. Bea does everything she can to avoid admitting what happened. She even goes as far as saying she doesn't care about Godzilla. Mary knows she's lying and even points out that Bea crashed a car while trying to find her dog. Back to the present, Mary interviews Joy and Ben. Joy explains that it's only natural for a big sister to feel protective of her little sister and, naturally, of her niece as well. She reveals that they considered taking Bea when she was born and actually tried to push through with it after the truck incident. It turns out that Joy and Ben are overprotective parents. Ben was initially unwilling to take Bea in because of her rough and vulgar behavior. However, he changed his mind when she showed him affection after he saved her from drowning in their pool. However, when Joy suggests the idea to Sharon later, she calls the cops on them, claiming that someone was trying to steal Bea from her. After that incident, Bea stays with her parents but goes to a private school with the help of Joy and Ben. Although Derek initially refused the money for Bea's tuition, Loretta made him accept. Loretta reasons that if Bea was going to get knocked up in high school like she did, it might as well be by a rich kid. Bea says that while her family is busy worrying about her future, she is just trying to balance work, school, and caring for her parents. Back in the present, Mary talks to Derek and Sharon. Derek shares his near-death experience, and Mary asks what his story has to do with her question. Derek explains that he's not sad or scared about Bea because, during his near-death experience, Jesus told him that he has his back, which means he has Bea's too. In a flashback, Bea struggles to sell tickets for her school's fundraiser, where the winner gets 2 tickets to see Celine Dion. It seems she's doing it because the one that sells the most tickets will get a free trip to Disneyland. Back in the hospital, Bea's best friend Nia apologizes, saying what happened to Bea was all her fault. Mary then enters the room and takes the time to interview Nia. She asks Nia if Bea drinks, and the young girl says no. Mary then reveals that when Bea got hospitalized, they discovered she had alcohol in her system. Nia says it is impossible because Bea doesn't drink since she's against it due to what happened to her father when he was young. Mary then asks where they usually hang out. In another flashback, Nia asks Bea why she cares about selling the tickets so much. Bea explains that it's because Esther said no one can sell more tickets than her, and Bea wants to prove her wrong. Not long after that, Bea goes to work cleaning pools. When she gets home, she takes her parents to sleep. She then cleans up the dishes and prepares their medications before going to bed herself. On their way to work and school the next day, Bea and her parents discuss homosexuality. Derek believes it's wrong because the Bible says so. Bea tells them that one of the people her parents admire the most is a lesbian. Since Derek and Sharon are in denial, Bea tells them she's also a lesbian, leaving her parents at a loss for words. Bea tells Nia about it, and they both find it funny. Then, a guy named Ethan approaches Bea and gives her his notes because he noticed she was asleep during their class. When Ethan leaves, Nia says that Bea might as well be a lesbian because she just passed on him. Nia then explains that Ethan is a rich kid who just moved into school and is already the talk of the town. Realizing that Ethan might be at Esther's party, Bea thinks about going. Nia quickly reminds her that they are the sort of people who don't get invited to such parties. Bea tells her they won't need an invitation if they bring alcohol. The night of the party, Bea takes Sharon to the convenience store and uses her to purchase the liquor they need for the party. While they leave, a group of teens sees what happened and gets interested in doing the same thing. As planned, Bea and Nia get into Esther's party because of the alcohol they brought. While inside, Esther's older brother, who is in college, tries to hit on Bea, but she rejects him. The two friends later watch Ethan show off his urine spraying skills to everyone. Not long after that, Esther calls Bea and shames her for being too poor in front of other girls. Bea cries and cleans herself up in the bathroom. She then gets startled when Ethan suddenly barges in, saying he thinks his cancer has returned because he suddenly started bleeding. Concerned, Bea immediately takes Ethan to the hospital, where they learn that it wasn't his cancer, but just overexertion for urinating too hard. On their way out, Ethan asks Bea to do a pinky swear that she will never tell anyone about what happened there, and she agrees. In the present, Ethan is watching Bea outside her hospital room. Loretta arrives and asks if he's Bea's boyfriend. Seeing that he's hesitant to answer, she tells him that she senses he's hiding something. Realizing he can't hide anything from Loretta, Ethan reveals that he and Bea broke up. Not long after that, Mary interviews Loretta, who reveals she could have been a huge star if she had not been framed. She even takes the time to demonstrate her amazing singing talent to Mary. After the interview, Mary says that Ethan is the only one she needs to interview next. Joy finds herself surprised to learn that Bea already has a boyfriend. After their pinky promise that night, Bea returns home to find her parents waiting for her. They wanted to show their support regarding her revelation earlier that she was a lesbian. Bea reveals that she was only joking and happily shares that she might have a boyfriend, which stuns her parents again. After that night, Bea and Ethan continuously hang out and publicly express their affection for each other. It even leads to Nia feeling left out whenever they're together. After getting close to having their first fight, Ethan surprises Bea by visiting her house and bringing pizza. Initially, Bea tried to send him away because she was afraid to let him meet her parents. However, Derek and Sharon come to the door and invite Ethan into their home. Much to Bea's surprise, Ethan and her parents click, and she is happy about it. He even invites her to be his date for the prom, and she agrees. While working at the pool one day, Bea encounters Esther, who immediately makes fun of her job. Bea fights back this time, exposing Esther for being desperate to be Ethan's boyfriend. She then flaunts her relationship with Ethan before Esther and her friends, humiliating the socialite. After that, Bea's life started looking good. She was doing well at work and school. On top of that, her relationship with Ethan continued to blossom. Sometime later, Mr. Vasquez calls Bea to his office to convince her to apply for college. By the end of their talk, Bea half-heartedly tells him she'll think about it. One afternoon, Sharon asks Bea if she can take her to the store. Bea tells her to ask Derek instead because she needs to go out to buy her prom dress. Since Derek is sleeping, Sharon decides to go to the store alone. While shopping for clothes, Bea and Nia get into a fight. It turns out Nia is mad for not having a date for prom because she didn't look for one since Bea said she wasn't going. After a short argument, Nia leaves Bea behind. While sulking on her way home, Bea accidentally finds Godzilla. She greets him, and he recognizes her. She doesn't hesitate to take him home, especially since he looks neglected. Elsewhere, Sharon arrives at the store and encounters the teens who had seen her buy liquor for Bea and Ya before. They also ask her to buy them some, and she happily accepts. Shortly after that, Derek arrives in a rush and encounters the police, who have arrested Sharon for allegedly selling liquor to minors. He tries to explain, but accidentally makes it look like he's being aggressive. The cops misunderstand him, so they arrest him too. When Bea arrives home, she gets a call about what happened to her parents. She goes to bail them out of jail using the money she has saved for their senior trip. Upon returning from the police station, things quickly turn sour as Bea confronts her parents for making her life difficult. Things escalate, and Derek fails to control himself and accidentally slaps Bea in the face. After that, Bea's life starts falling apart. She decides to abandon her plans to go to college. She and Ethan also have a misunderstanding, which leads to them breaking up. Overwhelmed by everything, Bea decides to go for an evening jog while desperately trying to hold back her tears. In the present, Mary finally talks to Ethan, who immediately tells her he doesn't know what happened to Bea. Mary says she doesn't think he does, but that she only finds it strange that he hasn't visited her yet. Ethan reasons that it's because Bea wouldn't want him to see her in such a state. Returning to the past, Bea goes to Nia's house to apologize to her for everything. They quickly make up, and Nia reveals that she found a date for prom, but is not planning to ditch the event for her best friend's sake. However, Bea doesn't want her to, and even helps Nia prepare for it. While the rest of her classmates are at prom, Bea indulges herself in alcohol. Intoxicated and unable to think straight, she decides to try selling tickets on the streets again. Esther's older brother sees her and picks her up. He tries to get some action with her but fails. Bea gets out of the car and says she will walk home. Esther's brother tries to stop her, but the intoxicated Bea accidentally trips and hits her head hard on the ground. Esther's brother quickly brings her to the hospital and leaves her there. The hospital's medical team sees Bea and rushes her inside for medical attention. In the present, Bea finally wakes up from her coma, and everyone rushes to greet her. Sharon seems to struggle with how to react and simply stares at Bea, taking a moment to process everything happening. When everyone else has settled, Sharon hugs Bea and tells her she loves her. Bea quickly apologizes for worrying her mother. Sharon says that since she was scared, she pretended that Bea was simply sleeping. That way, she knew that Bea would wake up. After that, Joy and Peg talk about how Sharon's disability wasn't able to stop her from enjoying her life. They then relish Bea's success in overcoming her coma. Later that evening, Ethan visits Bea's room, bringing a bouquet of flowers. They reconcile, and since both of them don't want to break up, they resume their relationship. Shortly after, Mary enters the room and says goodbye to Bea since her job is already done. Before she leaves, Bea asks Mary if her family is the strangest one she's worked with, and Mary says no, not even by a long shot. Eventually, Bea gets out of the hospital, and everyone does their best to help her recover. While on the way to drop her off at school, Bea and Derek have a heart-to-heart talk. Derek tells Bea that he actually expects and is ready for her to move out because that's what children do. He tells her she shouldn't feel responsible for caring for him and her mother because they can do it themselves. After that, Bea takes her college application seriously. Everyone, including Earl, is there to support her when she graduates. After the ceremony, the entire family goes out to eat, and Bea shares a toast celebrating their bonds. By the movie's end, Bea talks about how her parents kept on going despite their disability. She says they were determined to live the life they wanted, regardless of how much everyone else told them they couldn't. She also says she's realized that only one person can tell her she can't do anything, and that's herself. So, she has decided to tell herself otherwise. What a wholesome movie. Glad there was a happy ending. What did you guys think?
Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like. It really helps the channel.